Napper is injured, so Joe Lydon gets a start. Lydon in 4 in the centres. And there's no Martin O'Fire, who is struggling to overcome shoulder problems. Danny Ellison gets his chance then. The 20-year-old makes his debut. Nigel Wright, the first big money buy of John Doraghay's reign, is the standoff half in 6. And forming quite a partnership, no doubt, with Sean Edwards, the scrum half, who were 7. Front row has its usual formidable look, starting with Kelvin Skerrett, the prop forward, in 8. Martin Dermott, fellow Great Britain international, is the hooker in 9. And Ian Gildart gets his chance to establish himself in the side on this, the first day of the new season. Dennis Betts is in the second row, the Great Britain international, alongside the teenage Barry John Mather, who completes the second row wearing 12. And the Great Britain international Philip Clark completes the lineup for Wigan at loose forward. And the coach, there he is, new man in charge, John Doraghay. Plenty of people pour into Central Park week after week to see whether they can retain that title. Hull, well, they've lost some established stars. They're still holding out for better deals, but they have an experienced fullback. Richard Gay will wear number 1. Paul Eastwood is the Great Britain international on the wing in 2. Youngster Rob Danby, who only played once last season, he gets his chance in the centre, will wear 3. Alongside the Australian, the former Balmain man, James Grant, who wears 4. And it's a debut for teenage winger Kevin Gray. He played in the Academy Cup final at Old Trafford against Warrington last May. The standoff half is Rob Nolan in 6. Scrum half, standoff and centre, Nolan now the standoff half. And Mark Hewitt, a goal in that Academy Cup final last season. It's his debut in the first team, the 18-year-old. Mark Jones, the Welsh international, is the oldest man in the Hull side at 28. He gets his chance to establish himself as hooker because Lee Jackson is one of those players holding out for a better deal. Steve McNamara finally put pen to paper on his agreement with Hull. He's the prop forward today and the club's captain in 10. It's Danny Dive, the Frenchman, who's in the second row, wearing 11. And alongside him, the former winger, now converted to the Pac-Man, Anthony Chico Jackson. And Dean Busby, the teenager, completes the lineup for Hull. He's the loose forward in 13. And the coach, the man who ran those 5 marathons in 5 days, Roy Simmons. Perfect conditions, big crowd, Central Park awaits a match to savour. It's Wigan against Hull, and we have the whole game coming up for you after these. A big welcome for the champions from the Central Park crowd. Wigan start the new Stonesbitter Championship season seeking to extend their record run of successive titles to 5. That's the team that Wigan hope will bring in the 2 points on this opening day. Botica, Robinson, Bell, Lydon, Ellison, Wright and Edwards, Skerrett, Dermott, Gildart, Betts, Mather and Clark. Interesting that during their run of championships, Wigan have lost only 19 matches and won 82. One of the 19 was against Hull last season, almost exactly 12 months ago. And this is the side that Roy Simmons hopes will do exactly the same again today. Gay, Eastwood, Danby, Grant, Gray, Rob Nolan, Hewitt, Jones, Dixon, McNamara, Dive, Chico Jackson and Dean Busby. Substitutes, well, Wigan do look formidable at 14 and 15 with Martin Crompton and Andrew Farrell on the bench. And Hull have Jeremy Cassidy, another of the youngsters, and John Sharp, who is fighting his way back to full fitness after injury. Nigel Wright, £150,000 changed hands with Wakefield Trinity to allow Nigel Wright to come to Wigan during the summer. Runner-up to Jason Robinson in the Young Player of the Year poll. Last season, he scored 6 tries, 12 goals and 6 drop goals for Wakefield Trinity last season. They're sorry to see him go from Wakefield. They're happy to have him here at Central Park. The match referee, just having a word with the Wigan mascot, is Russell Smith from Castleford. He was the Wembley referee, you may remember, in the Challenge Cup final last season, Wigan against Widnes. And Mark Hewitt, a goal in the Academy Cup final at Old Trafford last May. This is his debut in the first team. Of course, Des Hasler is on his way over to England once his duties at Manly have been done and dusted for 1993. But Mark Hewitt, 18-year-old, and Roy Simmons has had no hesitation in giving him his chance in the first team here today. So the Central Park pitch looking in absolutely magnificent condition, and the new season for the champions is about to get underway. It will be Hull in the rather jazzy new away kit who will start the proceedings. And Frano Botica at fullback. Botica the boot. Tremendous record, 423 points from Botica last season. Paul Eastwood of Hull gets the champions' defence in motion. Here's Barry John Mather with a strong run to the 20-metre mark. Steve-O, the Central Park crowd, all expectant again, and Wigan remain the team to beat.
Yes, they're red-hot favourites before the season, but mistakes like that will certainly help the whole side. Let's not forget that they came here and beat Wigan in the first game last season, so they'll be lifted by that. It's a pretty hard task. The whole side have got some keen young youngsters there. It's a matter of whether they can handle the pace. It won't be easy.
And they've lost that against the head, but the referee Russell Smith has seen a little knock on. And the brand new haircut that Shaun Edwards is sporting there, and he's not too happy.
Not too impressed with it there, Shaun Edwards, but it was just a little one.
So it gives Hull the chance to attack with James Grant, their Australian. The tackling from Lydon and Nigel Wright. And they wouldn't get away from him, or they couldn't get away from him, and Russell Smith has penalised Lydon immediately for holding down in the tackle.
Good call there by the referee, Smith. See quite clearly there that Lydon still making no attempt to get away. The centre, James Grant, not having a clear path to play the ball. It really does impress me when a referee takes control of that early in the game.
So Paul Eastwood has a very early opportunity here to kick for goal, and it's from bang in front of the sticks. The Great Britain winger with 13 caps to his credit. He was the top scorer at Hull last season. The British Lions tourist of 1990 and 1992. Crowd doing its best to put him off. And the crowd has succeeded. That's a bad miss. It was bang in front of the posts, and really he should have scored with that.
Well, he normally has those for breakfast. A little bit of nerves coming in. Not surprisingly. Pretty difficult to come to Central Park. The crowd expect so much here, the Wigan supporters. They've been so used to so much success.
Lydon then with the dropout on the 20-metre mark. With length on it too, into the arms of Richard Gay. Gay, who has spent the summer with his old coach Brian Smith at the St George Club in Sydney. Never actually broke into the first team, played reserve grade down under, but apparently has come back looking fit and sharp and really raring to go for this new season. Mark Jones, the Welshman. Dixon is the acting halfback.
Well, it's the tactics that I thought Hull would employ. Trying to keep it very tight, use the forwards. They'll try to suck Wigan into a forward battle. Naturally, it's to their advantage, with all the stars out wide for Wigan.
Rob Nolan's kick just drifting over the top of Jason Robinson, who was happy to let it bounce out of play.
Nice kick by the number 6, Nolan. Pushed it right into the corner. This is the position that they would have been looking for, hoping that Wigan will make a mistake.
Edwards feeds and picks up cleanly this time, and here now Jason Robinson receiving a little bit of treatment too. Swinging arm going in there. It was Chico Jackson, I think. He was certainly involved, so too was Nolan.
There you can see the swinging arm. Nolan it was. Well, that was a wasted effort there, wasn't it, really? He puts a nice kick over into the corner to apply the pressure, swings the right arm and releases the same.
Wigan then rolling forward with Skerrett. Of course, Andy Platt is out, and so too Martin Afire, but nothing really compared to the problems that Hull have had in the summer, with an entire front row out of action because of contract problems. Nigel Wright will be anxious to impress on this, his first team debut, and Dennis Betts doesn't make too many mistakes, but that was a big one.
Yeah, well, it's an unusual role to see Dennis Betts in the pivot. Normally he's a runner out wide. Maybe that's a ploy that the new coach at Wigan, John Dorrie, here has brought to him.
Edwards was very, very quickly out to try and get that ball from Mark Hewitt. The referee not happy that the scrum had formed correctly, so calls for it again, and now it's Eastwood for Hull. Mark Jones. Big man looks full of running too. And interfered with as he tried to get to his feet. Another penalty.
Well, it won't be long before they learn. You see quite clearly there that the foot of Jones was pulled away. There's a culprit, Ian Gildart. And once again we see the pressure relieved.
So Hull back and in Wigan territory now with a vengeance. That's a great tackle though on McNamara by Philip Clark. And Edwards with that tackle. Now then, Hull looking dangerous with Hewitt, but that's good swarming defence from Wigan. Dixon, the dummy half, to Rob Nolan. The runners are there, but bit of confusion in the Hull ranks. Botica picks up the pieces.
Well, the ball was going back inside from Nolan, the second rower, and Jackson just took his eyes off that football, not really expecting it. And once again, Hull are missing their chances.
And they've been caught offside by Russell Smith. Points the accusing finger at Mark Jones, the Welshman.
Well, you can see there, Jones just a little bit too fast off the mark. Just a couple of strides in front of his fellow teammates.
That's the fourth penalty in this match in 6 minutes, so Russell Smith making his intentions known. Bell to Wright, and now Edwards, and Botica. Nolan missed him first time, got him second time with a little bit of help from James Grant.
He picked him out well though, did Nolan. He could see the dummy runners coming and Nolan left him, went through and he picked his man well.
Philip Clark now. Good tackling. Dermot pushing away Dean Busby. Nigel Wright. First chance for Wright to run. That's good stuff. Gets the ball back inside though, and it bounces off Sean Edwards. But that was a promising break by Nigel Wright.
Lovely stepping run there by the number 6. And that looked forward to me. With the ball back inside there. And once again, the man that is always Johnny on the spot in support.
This is a good attack though, I was about to say, by Richard Gay, but it was snuffed out immediately by Frano Botica. Nolan, and he helps it to Dive to Grant, Grant out to that far side to the winger Kevin Gray, and the teenager is bundled into touch by Jason Robinson.
Good tackling, but really there was nowhere to go from him there. There you could see Grant got the ball away to the youngster Kevin Gray. He was in no man's land. That man in your picture had the strength to put him into touch.
Dean Bell to Joe Lydon. And Rob Danby clattering Lydon. A little late. Displeasure from the Wigan man. Wigan have begun this season as the hottest favourites in history. They're 6-4 on for a 5th title. Hull are 150-1 against. The crowd begins to find its voice as Wigan come forward with Skerrett.
That's got to be a penalty. Well, it's no good shaking your head. They just go all over the top. The rules state quite clearly when the tackle is made, you must roll away. They didn't. Russell Smith, no alternative but to give that penalty. A little bit of help from the Wigan hooker Martin Dermott, just to make sure that Mr. Russell Smith knew what was happening.
Now Gildart on the charge. Good tackle by McNamara, the Hull captain. Edwards to Betts. Oh, that looked forward. He went to ground anyway. But it's come back Wigan's way, and it's 6 more to go. Edwards again. Now Gildart. It's Barry John Mather. Nigel Wright.
He's thrown a few dummies, is Nigel Wright. He's getting into this game quickly. And Hull are taking them.
Edwards gets the ball away. Skerritt collects it. Gildart allowed it to bounce to his fellow prop forward. Over 10 minutes gone, still 0-0. Edwards gets the ball away. Kept alive well by Lydon. Betts trying to find Edwards. Knock on is the result.
Well, it's great football from Wigan, but really it'd be causing a lot of concern to their new coach John Dorrie. Just panicking at that last moment. It's all right being fancy and keeping this ball alive. Well, they've got to do the hard yardage first and then set up. A little bit fancy free for mine.
Richard Gay for Hull. Too close to his own line for comfort still. This is Dive, the Frenchman with the Australian accent. Mark Jones has been doing plenty of hard work early on here. Dixon, the dummy half, misses out Dive, finds his captain. No, it was Mark Hewitt, my mistake. This is McNamara. Now Eastwood, the kick downfield. Botica almost makes a meal of it. Gets away brilliantly from one and is wheeled in then by Dive.
You see where Wigan are at their dangerous when the ball is kicked deep. The defensive line from Hull have to move up quickly.
And Mark Jones hit Kelvin Skerritt off the ball there, but Wigan are not discussing that. They're attacking with Wright and then Edwards. Perhaps a forward pass or thereabouts. Referee, though, giving them the benefit of the doubt, and oh, my word, that was almost an interception and a great start for young Kevin Gray.
Well, he took the gamble, didn't he? That would have been try time for Wigan if he hadn't got his fingertips to that. But good thinking. Extra inch there, he perhaps would have been well away. The Wigan fullback, Frano Botica, was up in the line. It was a clear run.
Nigel Wright, back to Botica. Botica can't go anywhere because Richard Gay is there. Lydon, the dummy half. And Danny Ellison has moved in off the wing. He's obviously a bit frustrated, but that ball has come free. It must have been... Well, the referee has said knock on.
Well, the referee, Smith, looked towards his touch judge there. And it seemed to be helped, didn't it? Benefit of the doubt. Going against that man. Actually, it was Skerritt that involved with the ball.
Referee wipes the tackle count clean again because Sean Edwards had a wild kick at the ball as it was played. Obviously got his studs to it, but nothing else. Dean Busby gets the ball away to Hewitt. Now Jackson. Good tackling. Wright and Gildart pushing the man back. Ball makes its way to Eastwood. Wright, I think, was impeded as he went to try and charge it down. And the referee has pinned the Hull man for straying inside the 10-metre mark.
Yes, the Australian James Grant. The downtown rule applying there. He really did set off very quickly. You're allowed to run in front. Referees do allow that, but there you can see, as soon as it was touched by Robinson, Grant was not the 10 metres away. Thus the penalty given.
Now Kelvin Skerrett, and he's grounded on halfway by his opposite number, Mark Jones. Gildart now. Jones getting through a lot of work for Hull in the opening quarter of an hour here. Wright, though, as Wigan try and spread the play. And Wright's pass didn't find Ellison. It found the whitewash.
Bit of a wayward pass there by the former Wakefield star. I just get the impression this Wigan side are a little bit too eager to get this ball out wide, be a little bit too fancy. We haven't seen the hard work from the forwards that we normally see from Wigan in the first 15 minutes.
Remember, Hull won here 14 points to 13 last September, and they are looking to improve on their finishing of 9th place last term. Dixon to Dive, met head-on by Barry John Mather. This is Nolan, lovely ball round the back to McNamara, who was hauled down by the collar, says referee Smith. Hewitt to Nolan. Good ball. James Grant keeps it alive, but gives it straight to Martin Dermott. Wigan on the counter with Betts.
He had to be there, the hooker, Dermott. Ball going back inside. They had numbers, and that's play on.
Referee agrees. This is Rob Danby, the young teenage centre. Made his debut against Sheffield in the last match of last season. Now Mark Jones. Talking to Roy Simmons this week, he said all he could hope for his team was that they came off in credit as far as their performance was concerned, and they're certainly taking this game to Wigan at the moment. Hewitt, good ball, and it was Mike Dixon, the hooker, who was sniffing for the opportunity. Still Hull roll forward with Nolan. Now Richard Gay. That gap opens up. Gay goes for the line, and he's just held up, inches away. Nolan again. Dive dropped it. Chance gone.
Oh, the Frenchman really bombed that one. But what a great run there by Richard Gay. And the gaps really appeared in this Wigan defence. Good play. He got very close there. He thought about reaching out.
Wigan making errors, and they've surrendered possession again. Richard Gay so close, and Hull are back in possession. Jackson to Busby, to Dive. 10 metres short of the line, a Hull.
Oh, Dive was looking for support there. There was no one.
Dixon trying on his own, taking the tackle, and that's how close Hull are now. It's with Nolan, short ball to Busby, and they're in this time. Richard Gay. Hull have shocked the champions here. His first of the season. He spent the summer at St George in Sydney, and it looked like it might have paid off.
Oh, beautiful play. Busby, Nolan, they combined. Last pass there from Busby. Good support by the full-back. He was only inches short just a moment ago. You'll notice the Wigan defence, they just hang back. You've got to come up in that line, and that's a result, and that's a well-worked try. Different angle, you see the ball out wide. Nolan holds the ball up, no one came to him. The loose forward, Busby, steps inside, a beautiful pass. The smile says it all. And Hull have gone to a shock lead.
Richard Gay didn't play in the first grade for St George, but he's very much in the big league here. So Paul Eastwood, who has missed with one penalty from bang in front, now has a far more difficult opportunity here to turn Richard Gay's 4 into 6 with this conversion. set his sights right this time, and Wigan trail by 6 points to 0. So what a start for the men from the Boulevard. They beat Wigan last season, they beat Lee on their travels and drew at Sheffield. That was their only reward. 5 points throughout the whole of last season away from the Boulevard, and they're off and running here today, and they've given Wigan a bit of a start. Well, let's go downstairs now. One of the Wigan stars who is not playing today is Martin Afire, and he's with our touchline reporter Mark Wallace.
First of all, Martin, how is the shoulder?
Well, it's been about 9-10 weeks since I've had the operation. It's getting better, you know, it's just one of these things that takes time.
Have you been training with the boys?
Yeah, I've been back running, you know, since I've been out of the sling, and just started to do some light weights, a bit of rehab.
And how's the shoulder been standing up?
Yeah, it's going okay, you know, the doc says things are going okay, but I say, can't rush it. Hopefully, you know, when I'll be back to stay.
Not the best of starts here for Wigan today?
Yeah, it's still a long way to go. Obviously, we can play a lot better, and hopefully, you know, we will do.
Thanks very much, Martin.
Martin Afire, and let's hope we see him back on the pitch as soon as possible. Understand he's been playing a bit of basketball to try and get a bit of strength into that shoulder. The kick downfield is straight into the arms of Frano Botica. Botica using his pace. 6-0. Hull ahead. And the referee, I think, has pulled Hull for obstruction.
Well, I don't think he marked up square at that play the ball. There's a youngster there, Kevin Gray. Wasn't behind the second man, he raced away. But they really are putting pressure on this Wigan side. There you'll see quite clearly. He has to stand behind him. The second marker must be in a straight line. He wasn't. Thus the penalty. And I just get the impression now, Eddie, that John Dorrie must get the word out that they've got to work hard. They've got to start using... They can't just be classy all the time. They've got to get the forwards moving.
Here's one of them, Philip Clark, who is moving, but he was well tackled by Mike Dixon. Dean Bell is there. That was to Edwards, back to Bell. We're going to certainly not finding the gaps, and there's a knock-on. Another mistake from the champions. Uncharacteristic, this, so far.
Well, it's a forced error. There you can see the impact of the tackle. Good work by Steve McNamara coming in over the top. And they really have got to sort a few things out, this Wigan outfit.
Wigan's error count is starting to creep up.
You can just see the difference in the two sides is that Hull quite content to use their forwards, barge away through, suck this Wigan defence in up tight, and then when they do get into a good position, that's when they throw it out wide.
McNamara. Dixon, the dummy half. Nolan. And this is Busby. Trying to get away from Betts, but just couldn't. Hewitt to Nolan. Nolan just drops one over the top again. And they're all racing up here. Robinson will have to be quick. Oh, that's great stuff from Robinson. First chance that we've seen Robinson have a run, and he took it from behind his own post and left 3 Hull players in his wake.
Beautiful football from the youngster, and it had to be. Perhaps that might be the lift that Wigan are looking for, to just step up that gear.
Dermot now gets the ball to Skerrett. Hull were looking for the intercept with Kevin Gray, and Skerrett was able to charge 25-30 metres upfield. This is Clark. Edwards is there in support. Wright has arrived. Is this the moment for Nigel Wright? No, it's a great tackle from Richard Gay.
That's got to be a penalty, and he's gone to the sin bin, and rightly so. Professional foul. He knew that they had not the numbers in defence. It was obvious. It was a last-ditch tackle by the full-back. He elected to take the professional foul option, and he finds himself 10 minutes, Hull down to 12 men.
Was a wonderful tackle in the first place, though, from Richard Gay to deny Nigel Wright a try on his big league debut for Wigan. But there it is, Mike. And as you say, the referee had no other alternative.
No, he had no option to do it. And really, it's been great to see this youngster Nigel Wright. The combination between him and Sean Edwards has been one of the bright spots of this Wigan outfit so far. They really have combined. That's about the 5th time that Wright and Edwards has interpassed and made the break.
Well, Frano Botica, with that goal tally from last season, should, from this range, get his total underway for this, and he has. First point of the season for Wigan from the boot. 2-6. Well, Wigan only beaten twice at Central Park last season, Hull and Warrington, and only 5 defeats in all. Paul Eastwood taking his time to restart. Don't forget, of course, that Richard Gay is in the sin bin. Perhaps that might have something to do with the length of time he's taking. And it bounces off the leg of Botica. Runs dead in goal, and so Wigan will have to drop out from under their own sticks.
Well, this really is a bad mistake by Frano Botica. And I'm sure the word will come out and say, hey, come on, fellas, this is a new season. What has gone before is going to not help them in 1993-94 season.
Nolan looking round for some support. Wigan having to drop out from underneath their own post. They would have had to anyway, whether it touched Botica or not. Hewitt finds Chico Jackson. 26.5 minutes gone. A surprising scoreline to many, but not to the supporters of Hull and anyone around the boulevard.
Well, they're playing basic football. They're using the forwards well. Look at the gaps appearing there.
This is Mike Dixon, the hooker. And he's just a couple of metres short of the line. It's a good job that Barry John Mather was there to the last tackle. He managed to bring McNamara down, and so Hull will attack the other side. Kevin Gray couldn't get to that. Wasted opportunity.
Not the best of balls for the youngster there, but really he should have taken that. He was facing the right way. No chance of a knock-on. Just went right through him. But they'll be quite happy to try to keep Wigan camped on their own quarter.
McNamara doing the tackling on Barry John Mather. This is Philip Clark. Met shoulder to shoulder by Mark Jones. I have been impressed by the big prop forward so far. Jones, he's got through a lot of hard work. Dennis Betts steps through one, shrugs Mark Hewitt off. Good run from Betts. Lydon to Edwards. Skerritt screaming for it. Skerritt gets it, gives it back to Edwards. Over the top to Robinson. Robinson for the corner. There's no full back there. Now, did he drop it? Did he bounce it? No. Referee gives the try. The young player of the year opens Wigan's try account.
Excellent play. Quick play of the ball by Betts. The option taken on the blind side by Sean Edwards. Something we've been calling for, the forwards to run straight. Get it back inside. I'm afraid he's just a little bit too classy, this guy. That really was a good try. No doubt about it. The downward motion on top of the ball. But you can see that the Hull defence, they just held off. They didn't quite know what Sean Edwards was going to do. Maybe a little bit of perhaps a doubtful pass, but it was given. But that is a good try, well taken. They worked the blind side well, and they were given 4 points for it.
Jason Robinson, his first try for Wigan was against Hull here last season. under-21 international. Scrum half for his country at under-21 level, Wigan's winger. So from right out on the far touchline, Frano Botica, and he kicked these all the way through last season. Can he do the same again here today? He's given it a chance, but it was just slightly the wrong side of the post. But Wigan have levelled matters up. 6 points all.
Look at the magic there of Shaun Edwards. See how he just holds the ball up, pulls the loose forward, Dean Busby in, and then supports. The ball out wide. The winger was caught out. Fullback couldn't stop the speed of this man. Good try.
The referee, by the way, has noticed that Hull are wasting a few seconds of time here, and he's called for the clock to be stopped, and now he restarts the clock in the timekeeper's box. And here's the try scorer, Robinson, darting through the gap again. And it was a good job that Mike Dixon held on to him. Skerrett starting to run menacingly is Kelvin Skerrett.
Well, that's what we've been calling for, the forwards to start rampaging forward.
Right to Lydon. Lydon to Betts. Tackled by Busby. Clark to Edwards to Bell. Edwards and Robinson again.
Talking of Robinson, Eddie, I'm surprised that Hull are actually kicking the ball to Robinson when Wigan have a youngster, Danny Ellison, on the other wing. You'd think that they'd be kicking towards him.
It's Edwards with the dab ahead. James Grant read it. The stand-in full-back. Over half an hour gone. It's all level at 6 points apiece. Richard Gay still on the sin bin, of course, or in the sin bin.
What a great tackle there by Dennis Betts. Oh, he just hit Nolan, ball and all. Actually, it wasn't Nolan, it was the young centre, Rob Danby. Oh, what a crunch tackle it was.
This is Nolan now. It's been a big effort from Hull. I just wonder whether the amount of effort that they've had to put in will start to take its toll, and that was a mistake from Eastwood. He was kicking it almost before he got the ball safely gathered in here.
Well, he never really took it, did he? He was more intent, the eyes looking towards where he was about to kick. That was on the last, so that'll be the turnover.
Yes, possession automatically switches to the opposition if a mistake happens on the final tackle, as it did then. So Wigan now 10 metres away from the Hull line. It's a good driving run too. It was Gildart. This is Dermott. Now it's with Edwards. Edwards gives it to Barry John Mather, and Mather, the teenage forward, a try against Hull in the Regal semi-final in January, and he has come up with the same again here today.
Well, the magic of Shaun Edwards on display. Look how he just holds the ball. Come to me, he says. They do. They come in numbers. And the long striding Barry John Mather, the second rower, supreme, in for 4 points. But look how he brings them to him. Come to me. You can't hang off. The culprit was Jones. He switched, went out blind. Lovely little ball to that man. Excellent play. Well-deserved try.
Barry John Mather, under-21 international. Scored 2 tries against the French last season. 5 tries in all. And the 93-94 total now underway. Botica with the conversion attempt. Bang in front. No problems this time. And it has been an expensive stint in the sin bin for the Hull fullback, Richard Gay.
The magic of Edwards, two Hull players, they hang off, look at the gap, that's where he goes. Simple, basic football, but so effective. So effective, it brings Wigan another 4 points.
Jackson comes off and John Sharp will go on. John Sharp ran in a try on the opening day against Bradford 12 months ago, but he has not scored any since.
Well, once again, Hull opt to get the ball towards one of Wigan's most dangerous players, into the corner of Jason Robinson. That surprises me again.
Skerritt again. He has really upped the tempo in the last 10 minutes, has Kelvin Skerritt. And it's, I don't think, any coincidence, the fact that Wigan have suddenly hit the straps and they're ahead. But that's a mistake by Clark, an enforced error this time, because of the tackle by McNamara. Hull are back in possession. Well, Hull have made a substitution. I understand that Wigan are poised to make one too. Mark Wallace has the details.
Yes, Eddie. Andy Farrell is warming up on the touchline, the number 15, and it looks like Barry John Mather will be coming off. At the moment, Martin Dermott has a bit of an injury to his elbow. The doctors just had a look at it. He thinks it was a dislocated elbow, and now it's gone back into joint. He's going to give it a few more minutes and then see what it's like.
Yes, Mather goes off, and Andy Farrell comes on. Made a sensational start to his big league career last season, did Andrew Farrell. Challenge Cup and Championship medals, and he's only 18. And Nigel Wright is coming off too. They're giving him a bit of a breather, and he will be replaced by Martin Crompton. Crompton didn't play for much of last season.
Well, it's obvious that the coach, John Dorrie, very early in the piece is letting them know interference, not allowing Robinson up to play the ball. That's another bad mistake from Hull, but getting back there you can see the reason why. Not allowing him to play and then just taking him down again. I'm just saying with John Dorrie, the fact that he's going to let the star players know that there's star players waiting in the wings.
Just over 3 minutes to go to half-time. Andy Farrell, first touch for him. Clark to Crompton, first touch for him. And Edwards surrounded. Dermott at dummy half. Crompton, Farrell. Brought down by Busby, with a bit of help from Danny Dive. Bell to Edwards. Wigan attacking down that right-hand touchline again, but Betts drops it. It was on the last. It's the turnover.
Once again, we saw the importance of this number 7 for Wigan, Shaun Edwards. He really is terrorising this whole defence. When he gets the ball, they just hang off him. They don't really know what he's going to do next.
John Sharp has been anxious to get back on the field after injury problems. Richard Gay has returned from the sin bin, and that is young Rob Danby. Gay again, clips the ball over the top, tries to get round Betts, and in fact it bounces off a Wigan knee, and so Hull will have head and feet at the scrum here.
Yeah, it just came off the hand and the hip off Dennis Betts. The fullback Richard Gay did just get a touch to it also. Crowd not happy. Majority anyway.
Ball didn't go into the scrum.
I had to laugh there at Shaun Edwards. He tried to pull the wool over the referee, Russell Smith there, tried to run round and put the ball in, but it wasn't going to happen.
Thunderous challenge on Rob Nolan from Botica. Hewitt to Dive. Dive does well, gets the ball away to Dean Busby. Busby cuts in field, he has Hewitt there in support. It's been an encouraging start by Hull, despite the fact that they trail at the minute. Busby with the little kick ahead. And the referee, I think, has given Hull the penalty, has he? Because as Busby went for the kick through here, you'll see an elbow or a shoulder used to impede him.
Well, I reckon that could be a little bit harsh. It appeared to me that both the Wigan players just stood their ground, turned to the side. The benefit of the doubt going towards Hull. But full credit to Hull, you'll see on the replay. Now the two players just turned. Still, maybe perhaps Skerritt's shoulder a little bit bigger than what we thought. But as you say, Eddie, it's been an impressive display by Hull. The way that they've just worked it very tirelessly down the middle. Hasn't been all that fancy. It doesn't have to be. It's the effect that counts. And it certainly has done that. And they found quite a lot of gaps, especially down the middle in this Wigan defence.
Now this is a vital kick for Eastwood, because we can't have too much time before the half-time siren. It's a difficult angle, though, from this penalty, but it would be nice for Hull if it goes over, and it does. That's a nice little boost for the early birds up to half-time. Eastwood successful with the penalty. And we're in injury time, but Hull have reduced the arrears to 4 points. Indeed, no time for the kick-off. So that's the way it stays at the break. Richard Gay disappearing in the tunnel. Been an eventful first half for him. Try and sin binning. And Jason Robinson with a great try in the corner for Wigan. The champions ahead by 12 points to 8 at half-time. Half-time at Central Park then. Wigan just ahead, 12 points to 8. Courtesy of those two tries, Robinson and Mather. The goals from Botica. Try for Hull from Richard Gay, and Eastwood with 2 goals. It was an eventful first 40 minutes of the new season for Richard Gay. Scored an excellent try and then spent 10 minutes of the half in the sin bin for a professional foul. And Jason Robinson showed us flashes of his pace and speed, particularly one breathtaking run to get out of trouble from behind his own post. Left 3 Hull defenders trailing in his wake. Scored a good try too. So second half coming up then. Wigan 4 points ahead of Hull. The champions, well, Mike, are up against it a little bit in this opening match of the season, but they have started slowly in the past, haven't they?
Yes, it's been their problem, especially in the first 2 or 3 games, but it was stated that John Dorrie said that they were the fittest he'd ever seen a team. And as far as they're concerned, they don't have any excuses. I think the fact is, Eddie, it's going to take a while, because there is a few new members into their side, but they've got to get back to basics, and I thought late in that first half they were doing that. The forwards were running hard and solid and making the platform. You've got to go through your hard work before you can bring all the fancy stuff out.
Mark Jones has run strongly for Hull from the very first whistle of this match. Dixon at dummy half, back to Eastwood, left-footed kicker downfield. Bouncing for Robinson, and now he's trapped again, faced by 3 Hull defenders. Tries to dart through a gap, but Nolan does well to close him down. Of course, the eyes of the nation will be on Wigan to see how they will cope under the new coach. Mark Jones has lost his head, and 1 or 2 of the Wigan players have lost their head, and we've got a brawl. Jones was swinging punches, and the next thing is just about everyone was involved.
And he didn't miss, didn't the Welshman, and neither did a few more that was coming in. That's the bad part, I'm afraid. All right, a little bit of a problem there. You can see that there's a swinging one. Jones ran into Dermot, and then you'll see Bell came in to do his best. Now, a man coming in like that late, now that really was stupid play. You see it there, there's not anything. Perhaps it was something that was said. Either way, Jones shouldn't have gone in, neither should Bell. All in was there. Busby and Skerritt then started getting involved.
Stern face on the Wigan captain. The referee and touch judges having a word. And then no doubt they will sort this out. I think something was whispered in the ear of the Hull prop forward, Mark Jones, that he took exception to.
That I have no doubt.
And Russell Smith is going to his pocket to produce a card. It's yellow. Jones is in the sin bin. He started it. And I wonder whether a Wigan player will follow him. Referee wants a word with Skerritt. And he wants a word with Busby.
Well, if that's the case, then you should have a little word with the Wigan skipper, Dean Bell. Unless the touch judges and the referee have deemed that Bell was trying to stop the fight, but it didn't look that way to me. Now, there's nothing there. Now, why on earth Jones should get upset? You see the smiling face. Now, look at that. If that's not an attack, well, back to the game.
Yes, the boxing's over, and the match has restarted. And Hull again down to 12 men for 10 minutes, which is something when you're playing a team like Wigan you can ill afford to be. Betts to Farrell, running strongly is Farrell. Good tackling though, again from Hull, but the referee has pulled.
It was Mark Hewitt
for somebody who was interfering with one of the Wigan runners.
Yes, it was Mark Hewitt. The break was made. Little halfback from Hull, Mark Hewitt, grabbed hold of the man in support. He's a culprit. There you see the big substitute through, and Hewitt grabbing hold of Clark's shirt. Straight away, the referee, Russell Smith, blows the whistle, gives a penalty.
So it's a penalty to Wigan. Bang in front for Botica. Should be under 2 points here. Two out of three. The one he missed was from way out on the touchline after Robinson's try. No, he doesn't miss those. Wigan restore their advantage to 6 points, 14-8. And downstairs, Mark Wallace has some news from the dressing rooms at half-time.
Yes, John Doherty has been talking to his side. He's been saying they're a little bit slack and they need to tighten up their defence. In the whole dressing room, Roy Simmons has been saying that they need a better kick and chase game. They need to cut out the mistakes because Wigan capitalise on every slight mistake, and they have to close Wigan down in their own half.
That's the word from the dressing rooms. Paul Eastwood taking his time again. Remember, Hull have another player in the sin bin. Crompton to Farrell. And the word from the bench, by the way, is that Mark Jones is claiming that he was stood on by a Wigan player as he regained his feet. Presumably it was Dermot. And that's why he started all the rumble. And apparently he's had a word or two with the crowd as well, Mike, as he took his place in the sin bin.
Well, we can do without that. Let's get on with the game of football. Tempers are running a little bit high out there.
McNamara was interfering with Bell as he tried to play that ball. It's a penalty again to Wigan.
Well, I know sides, they try to do it just so they can get their defence back there, but no doubt about it. Look, McNamara's legs are wrapped round Bell. And then they look at the referee and say, who, me? I wouldn't dream of it. Look at that. You're supposed to let him go. Well done, referee. Disgust there on the Wigan skipper's face, Dean Bell. And when you've got a man like Frano Botica, can kick them from all over the ground. Wigan quite happy there in the box seat. 14-8, they lead.
Yes, Botica, the club record points and goal scorer in a season last season. 179 goals, 5 drop goals, 423 points because he ran in 15 tries as well. No wonder John Money fancies taking Mr. Botica to Auckland for a tilt at the Winfield Cup with the Warriors. He kicks them from everywhere. Much debate about who is the best kicker ever in rugby league, and this fellow, Steve-O, gets many people's vote.
Well, you've been around a lot longer than me, Eddie, so you should know. But yes, I'd have to agree with you there. Frano Botica is one of the super kickers, like a machine at times.
Eastwood restarts then. Remember, it was an expensive stint in the sin bin for Richard Gay in the first half, where Wigan came back from 6 down to claim the lead. And they've already rattled in 2 penalties, courtesy of Botica, while Mark Jones has been off the field.
Well, this is back to the Wigan best. 3 good runs by the forwards. Doing the hard work. This is when it should go out wide.
Penalty again. The ball was stolen from Ian Gildart as he tried to regain his feet. There it is, John Sharp with the hand.
Just a little one, the swinging right arm. Just enough to lodge the ball away. There it comes. Whoop. Why they do it in front of the referee is beyond me.
4 straight penalties. I was going to say allows Wigan to really turn the screw on Hull, and then Kelvin Skerritt comes up with a mistake. Nolan and Richard Gay. A gap has opened for Gay, but that was a copybook tackle from Joe Lydon. Grant to Hewitt to Nolan. Good tackling, Crompton. No doubt Martin Crompton, the Wigan substitute, delighted to be on the field of play after much inactivity last season as far as the big league's concerned. Played in the Alliance team after his big money move from Warrington. 10 minutes of this second half gone, 16-8. Richard Gay, ankles taken by Philip Clark. Danby to Nolan. Hoists the kick. Eastwood's after it, and he forces the error too from Ellison, but the ball went backwards, so referee allows Wigan to play on.
Well, Ellison there got taken as ball and all. A good play there by the other winger, Jason Robinson, in support. Sweeping up there, lovely.
Dermot to Edwards and Bell. Looking to set Robinson away, annoyed with himself.
Well, he probably thought that Robinson had grown about 6 inches in the off-season, but it wasn't to be. The chance was there. First glimpse we've seen, really, of Bell getting on the outside of his opposite. Rob Danby and James Grant.
Gay thought about keeping the ball alive as he was spun to the ground by Clark. Danby now to Dean Busby, who gives it to Paul Eastwood. A chance for Eastwood to show his skill. Cut inside Ellison. It was a good job that Skerritt was there. Busby to Sharp. Went nowhere. And Gildart has it back for Wigan.
Time and time again, it's been that last pass that's brought their undoing for Hull. But they do play some good football. They're trying to keep it alive. Skipper McNamara should have taken that.
Here's Andy Farrell for Wigan now. History is certainly against the men from Humberside. They've lost just 3 of the 14 meetings in the First Division against Hull here. Forward pass, says referee Smith.
Well, Wigan going through the moves. They're trying to back out wide and back inside. So often we've seen over the years Dermot and Sean Edwards combine so well. Not on that occasion, though.
Mark Jones is getting ready to resume the battle after his 10 minutes cooling off. Certainly Wigan, Mike, aren't playing on this opening day with the fluency that they ended last season. That will be, I suppose, understandable because they're not really yet into the rhythm, are they?
No, well, it's shown that, especially in the first half. It took them a long time to get going, and I suppose it's a sort of a hangover from so much success, perhaps, that they just expect it to happen. Well, you've got to work hard for it.
Gay keeping the ball alive there well, and luckily for him, Danby got to the loose ball first. This is the last tackle. Hull haven't made much progress. Can they now with Hewitt? He dinks the ball over the top. Bottica read it, and Bottica had to be brave as Hewitt followed up, and he was.
Good play by the youngster there. Hewitt took the opportunity. He could see that there was no sweeper.
A run from Ellison for the first time. We haven't seen too much of this young winger. He's been starved of the ball just a touch. Eastwood, meanwhile, kicking out at the ball as it was played. Quite legal. It's Wigan's scrum. Here's Crompton. Misses out Leyden. Gives it to Bell. Bell making a diagonal run. And almost 14,000 here at Central Park for the first match of the season. They'll come rolling in as this campaign unfolds.
Interesting to note there that that's the first time that we've seen Wigan use Phil Clark out wide. I suspect perhaps as the game progresses that we'll see more of Clark and especially Betts out wide there. But not with mistakes like that, I'm afraid. You see the misunderstanding, the kinks early in the season.
And Danny Dive comes off to be replaced by another of the young breed, Jez Cassidy. Man of the match in that Academy Cup final at Old Trafford against Warrington, scored a try in the 12-19 defeat last May. Eastwood, that typical hunched shouldered run of his. John Sharp now.
There's been a tradesman-like performance from this Hull side, having a lot of youngsters in there. Pretty hard to come to Central Park with inexperience, but they've done a good job of it. They've worked hard down the middle with their forwards. They're still not out of this game.
By no means. Quarter hour gone, 16-8. Another try, and it really will lift the Hull spirits. Kick over the top was from Nolan. Ellison has it. Now, he showed us a glimpse of his pace a moment ago, but can't this time. Busby with the tackle. Compton helps it on to Jason Robinson. Now Dennis Betts. Dennis Betts, a real workhorse. 190 games, plus the internationals in the past 5 seasons. Earning his money and earning it the hard way. Crompton to Edwards. Now Clark, and he helps it quickly to Farrell. Last tackle this for Wigan, so it's back with Lydon, who'll pump it downfield. And Richard Gay collects. Gets away from Edwards momentarily.
That was a great kick and chase there. Beautiful kick by Lydon, but it's to no avail if the chasers aren't there, and they certainly weren't on that occasion.
John Sharp. James Grant. Touch of the forward pass there. The referee allows him to play on. Botica. Botica has some pace. Puts the brakes on and then turns a lovely ball in field to Clark. Good chasing though by Cassidy to bring him down. Crompton going nowhere. Now it's with Lydon. Good run from Lydon. One-handed over the top looking for Ellison. Oh, juggling skills, he keeps hold of it. Draws applause from the crowd here at Central Park. Crompton to Edwards. Misses out Farrell, finds Betts. Betts trying to go over the top to Dean Bell. It eventually arrives to Robinson, and Robinson has seen a gap down the line. Can he get round? No, he can't. That's another super tackle from Richard Gay.
Oh, tremendous defence. It looked for all the world that Robinson was going to make the corner, but Richard Gay, ball and all tackle. Beautiful, beautiful football.
Robinson felt the full weight of that tackle. He went sliding into the perimeter wall. Fortunately, no real damage done. But what a great tackle it was from Richard Gay. He had a super fullback display on Friday night on the big league from Alan Tate. And Richard Gay, seems his summer down under with you, Mike, in Australia has helped.
Well, on that occasion, certainly, it was positioned well. He just hit the man at the right time. Eyes on the target. Beautiful play.
Hull, meanwhile, preparing to make another substitution as Jez Cassidy keeps hold. Let's get the details downstairs with Mark Wallace.
Yes, Chico Jackson has just come off the bench. He's walking along the sideline now. It looks like they're going to swap with Mike Dixon coming off.
So Roy Simmons is obviously shuffling around in taking Dixon off and bringing Jackson on. Jackson is on, Dixon obviously injured.
Forward pass there. Well picked up there by Russell Smith. Quite often a few occasions that you see the man overrun. You have to bend back for it at the prop forward Gildart. And as we keep mentioning, 20 minutes into the second half, Hull are certainly not out of this game.
Chico Jackson packing down in that Hull scrum, and Busby has the possession. Now it's with Nolan and Gay. Danby on his inside, Gay hanging on and having to take the tackle from Lydon. Midway through the half, 16-8, and Hull not out of this, not by a long chalk. Hewitt. Substitute Cassidy. The Wigan crowd quiet at the moment, watching their side struggle here to really click into top gear against this very workmanlike and encouraging Hull display.
Well, another great run there by the prop forward Mark Jones. He has it at a big game.
Sharp slides the kick across. Robinson's there and he's tackled behind his own line. Good play from Hull. Jackson, the man leading the chase.
Good run there by Jackson, not allowing Robinson any chance to get over. The pressure's still on this Wigan side.
Yes, workmanlike, encouraging. I'm sure that Royce Simmons will be very encouraged by what he's seen here today, knowing that Hasler, there's Hasler from Manly and Jeff Doyle from North Sydney are still to come across at the end of the Australian season. Encouraging signs indeed.
Yes, you just get the impression that Hull really just missing someone with a little bit of spark that could perhaps bring something out of the fire, but it's going to be on now.
This is James Grant, keeps the ball alive, and perhaps he should have held on.
Well, a ball out wide there. Danby keeping it alive, and Grant really. You could see the old rugby union coming out of him there.
Indeed, he's been penalised by the referee because the referee says
passing
his
from the ground,
elbow was down. Yes, so he's passing from the ground.
A bit of a rah-rah coming out in James Grant there. Takes the pressure away from Wigan.
So Wigan are back in possession with Dermot to Farrell. They're really working hard though, Hull, aren't they?
Yes, it's a good credit to them, but I think we'll see now that Wigan will just play the basics, and that's forward. I was just about to say that they'll play the basics and go through the hard work, and what do? They take the option to keep the ball alive when it was never really on. And you can see Sean Edwards shaking his head. It's just not on, he says, and rightly so.
Nolan, Eastwood. Oh, mistake from Eastwood. Not best pleased, the Hull winger.
He just simply lost possession. Well, quite a few things for both coaches, I feel. Wigan, John Dorrie, and Hull's Roy Simmons. Plenty to work on. A lot of polishing on both sides, I'm afraid. Try to get these kinks out.
Nigel Wright in his debut is coming back on. He'll be replacing Martin Crompton.
Another chance for Nigel Wright to impress this Central Park crowd, and immediately into the action. Oh, but it won't impress him with passing like that. Luckily Bottica was alert to it, and Bottica is skipping away from one tackler. They can't get away from Steve McNamara.
Well, that was a bad mistake by Wright to just come on, but I think that's a good move by the Wigan coach, John Dorrie. I think they need someone to just put a little bit of a spark and try to get this machine working, but not with things like that. That'll be a knock-on. Things getting a little bit scrappy. See the prop Gildart dropping the ball. Now the ball doesn't have to actually hit the ground. Still can be classed as a knock-on these days.
James Grant disappears under the challenge from Bell, Farrell and Edwards. Hewitt to Busby to Eastwood. A bit of space. Now Eastwood fancies taking Ellison on outside. Gets the ball infield to Busby. Good scrambling defence though from Wigan. Richard Gay. A mistake from Clark. Play on, says the referee, because Hull have got the ball back. James Grant. Gay, the dummy half to Nolan. Now Mark Jones. Oh, a risky pass from Cassidy to John Sharp. John Sharp appealing to the referee that it was tackled without the ball then. Russell Smith having none of it.
Well, it was well read, I thought. They could see that Sean Edwards had picked it right, knew that Sharp was going to go on the blind side.
Dermot to Edwards to Nigel Wright. Always looking for the opportunity, Wright, to use that pace. Edwards switches the direction of this attack and finds Lydon, who drops it over the top, and it was lucky for Hull that Eastwood was there. He got a hand to it and was able to retain the possession for Hull.
Good play by Eastwood there. It nearly just bounced away from his fingertips. Wigan really have to pull out something now, even though they're in the box seat.
Yes, the match is still for winning, isn't it?
My word, and a very quiet Central Park crowd.
Wigan 16, Hull 8. 27 minutes of this second half gone. So Hull have got 13 minutes to rescue the match. Nolan hoists the kick. Dermot collects and then takes the tackle.
Well taken by the hooker then. Notice how he took the ball, he then twisted to put his body between the would-be tackler, so it protects the ball. No chance of it being dislodged away from him.
Well, we've been saying all day it's an encouraging display, this, for Hull. Let's see if a member of the Hull team agrees with us. Mike Dixon's off, presumably injured, and he's talking now with Mark Wallace downstairs.
Mike, I see you've got some ice on your leg. What's actually happened?
I took a bit of a knock to my knee. I've got a little pull on my hamstring. Feeling I was struggling trying to get down to Acton half-back, so one of the physio and the coach thought I'd better come off, let someone else can get to Acton half-back and run some plays from there.
Hull are doing very well. They haven't got a full-strength side, but they're certainly putting up a good fight here.
Well, maybe consider we haven't got a full-strength side, but we've got a lot of young kids out there with a lot of enthusiasm, and they want the position for these Australians to come over, so they're going to give everything what they've got. And by the looks of it, we're doing really well. We've got a good side up there, what we can work on.
The team looking forward to Des Hasler coming over?
Well, of course, it'll give a bit more strength and depth in our play. And he's a good, world-class player, so hopefully that when he does come down, he can prove it down here like he's in Australia now.
Thanks, Mike.
Hull in possession with Nolan, and that's the 20-metre mark. Now Richard Gay. I think he noticed out of the corner of his eye then that Frano Botica had moved up to support that attack and was looking for a quick break. Didn't come. Sharp.
Well, it's at this point in the game now that Hull have to pull out one of their moves. They're really running out of time now.
High from Skerrett on Jackson. Jackson didn't like it.
No doubt about it. Swinging left arm. Jackson got the full force. Head goes back. Penalty given. Quite a lot of spite throughout this game. Naturally so. It's a pretty tough encounter always between these two sides.
Yes, memories, of course, of that classic Challenge Cup final in 1985 between these two. This has certainly not been a classic, but it has been workmanlike, particularly from Hull, who I think will be more satisfied with their performance, even in defeat, than perhaps Wigan will be if they manage to hold on for the win here. Winning's all important, obviously, but it's the manner in which they win here at Central Park that matters to a great number of the crowd. That ball's come free.
Was it dragged away? Well, they just say it was the impact. And I tend to agree with that. They took him on his back, the impact, the ball hit the ground and was lost.
Martin Crompton returns for Martin Dermot. Presumably Crompton will go into the hooking role, and he does in that scrum. We have just less than 10 minutes to go. Wigan 16, Hull 8.
Well, I suspect that there's been a bit of a problem there with the hooker Martin Dermot, because in the second half we haven't seen those jinking runs we see from the dummy half position. And that's another thing that they've been lacking in the Wigan attack today. I think we might see that a little bit more now from the substitute Martin Crompton.
Oh, Jackson's giving Skerrett a taste of his own medicine here. Skerrett has a smile on his face, looks at the referee, looks at Jackson ruefully, has a little word with him, and play continues. Hard man, Kelvin Skerrett. Here's Nigel Wright and Betts.
Not many soft ones play this one, Edward.
Indeed not. It's the roughest, toughest game in the world. And you don't want little mistakes like that to put pressure back on your team.
Well, the fundamental errors from both sides, but especially from the champion side, Wigan, certainly haven't endeared them to their home crowd, and that was a pretty tough one, wasn't it?
Here's Mark Jones.
He's wound up Iskerrit.
Nolan gets away from Crompton. Chance for James Grant. Long pass, Richard Gay attacking down this left flank, shows the ball one way, then goes himself, wrapped up by Jason Robinson. Kevin Gray is there at dummy half. McNamara inviting John Sharp to have a run. Last tackle. Cassidy to Hewitt. Nolan hoists a high kick. Botica's coming for it, drops it. It went backwards though, and Lydon is able to get the ball for Wigan, and then Hull are penalised and then march back 10 more metres because of something that was said to referee Russell Smith.
Yeah, the penalty given there, the inexperience of the little halfback Mark Hewitt, given an extra 10 metres. Just lost his marbles a little bit there. It's been a good display though by the youngster. Pretty hard to come into the hotbed of rugby league like Central Park, but he's certainly played his part in this game.
Nigel Wright dabs it forward. Mark Hewitt was the man who read the situation well and dropped on the loose ball. Gets possession back for Hull. Been a stuttering display this by the champions, hasn't it? But they are still ahead by 16 points to 8. But Gay is on the attack and looking for something here with Cassidy. Cassidy gets it to Danby. Oh, and that was perhaps a touch of inexperience.
Well, he took the option, didn't he? Could see it coming, and it was just that Sean Edwards got in the way with the arm down, but it was try time if he could have got that.
Here's Ellison. Eastwood wraps him up perfectly. Bell. Saw Clark was free on his inside. Edwards. Farrell. Coming into the last 5 minutes here. Skerritt. Wigan still ahead 16 points to 8. In possession with Skerritt. Crompton's the dummy half on this last tackle. And he's having a run on his own as Crompton tried to get the ball away. Referee says the ball went backwards, so play on is the decision. Botica clips one into the crowd.
Well, there was no chance that Botica was going to get that one. It was far too long. That's the type of running that I mentioned earlier, the fact that it wasn't coming from the dummy half. Crompton took the opportunity. You could see the blind side was way open. Far too long. No one interfered with Frano Botica either.
Nolan to Gay. Wrapped up by Crompton, helped out by Edwards.
Probably one of the major factors that we must say, and he takes me back to the Charity Shield way back 12 months ago when Wigan without Andy Platt just did not look the same. The forwards didn't run with the same aggression, and I think on this display I think they'll be very happy to get Andy Platt back on the paddock.
Still a couple of weeks at least before he gets back. Same for Martin Afire. They won't be rushed. The old shoulder problems too dicey. Eastwood with the kick downfield. And Danny Dive has returned to the fray. He has replaced Mark Jones for the last 5 minutes here. Jones goes to the bench and Dive comes back on.
Gee, this whole pack have worked tirelessly, haven't they? Both in defence and attack. They've got through a lot of work. They've made Wigan work hard for this one. And really, when you put it down to the fact that it all boiled down to Sean Edwards' skill. Two nice little neat passes, a little bit of class from the Great Britain number 7, Sean Edwards. And that really is going to prove the difference.
Farrell puts his full weight behind that kick downfield. Gay has it. And Edwards misses him, but Betts doesn't, and neither does Gildart. Good chase by Wigan again. Dive.
Oh, that's better tackling. That's what's needed. Real bone shakers, those.
Cruncher by Farrell, wasn't it? This is McNamara. There's Andy Farrell. Nolan to Dive. Maintaining quite a French link at the boulevard, Danny Dive. Patrick Onta, of course, we all remember from the big league of a couple of seasons ago. And Nolan fancies a race with Pottinger and Robinson. And Robinson gets there first. Remember what he did at Castleford last season? There was no messing about that time. He just hacked the ball dead.
He was going to kick that all the way to Bolton, wasn't he? He was going to make sure of that one, but I'm not so sure that Nolan took the right option by kicking. He did have support. Either way, it was good play there by the standoff Rob Nolan. He's played quite well.
It was an optimistic kick forward, though, wasn't it, with the pace of Pottinger and Robinson to get past. But he's going to get the possession back here from the dropout. And it's with Gay, and he's got about 20-30 metres to run before he reaches these Wigan defenders. Keeps the ball alive to Cassidy. Cassidy can't get away from Skerritt. And neither could Hewitt. Dive. Hull are not giving up on this. Nolan again. John Sharp on a diagonal run. Hewitt to Richard Gay. Gay with a little kick forward, bounced kindly for Jason Robinson. And here goes Robinson, but he drops it. The ball is collected by Jackson. Keeps it alive, finds Eastwood. They just need a bit of support out there wide, and there could be problems here for Wigan. Oh, and they've bombed it again.
Well, it was definitely on, wasn't it? Nice pass inside there for Sharp. I'm afraid Cassidy just could not get to it. Liner did mercy.
So it's Wigan's head and feet at the scrum. Coming into the final minute of this match, Wigan leading by 16 points to 8. What do you make, Mike, of John Dorahay's first 80 minutes in charge? What do you make of the champions?
Oh, it's pretty hard to assess. A little bit rusty is perhaps all you can say. They've obviously changed a lot of things. A lot of switching of play rather than... And I thought the first 15 minutes, they just tried to get the ball out wide without doing the hard work. You've got to be able to suck the defence in. But it's early days and things have to improve. All the coaches, I'm sure, over the next couple of weeks will have a few kinks to sort out. But I think he'll be a relieved man to have got away with a win today. It hasn't been a championship-like performance, has it?
No, but they've got the win, and they've got Sean Edwards, who has created the victory, I think.
Well, as I mentioned before, that's a wonderful kick from Edwards. His skills, just when they need them, he seems to be able to just pull them out, doesn't it? When they certainly need it, that's the sign of a very talented player, and that he is.
Hull not giving up. Eastwood. And now Nolan again. And it's with Kevin Gray. Good tackling by Dean Bell. Deep into stoppage time here. Dive having a run at Nigel Wright, standing in the tackle, getting the ball away to McNamara. And forward pass is the decision against McNamara.
Well, with only seconds remaining, not surprisingly, Hull trying to keep this ball alive. But this whole side, they can go over the Pennines feeling, well, I suppose quite happy in many ways, if you can feel happy at losing. But when you think of it, you bring in Hasler and, of course, Doyle, two exciting players. You throw those two in with this very hard-working pack of forwards, and they could cause a few problems throughout this season.
Yes, they'll be encouraged by their display, despite the defeat that it now looks like it will be. And there is the full-time siren, but the referee will allow play to continue until that tackle, and there it is. It's the end of the opening 80 minutes here at Central Park. Wigan have got their campaign off to a victory, courtesy of that 16-8 scoreline. Jason Robinson with a try in the first half, and there's Martin Afire, who no doubt is anxious to get back on the field of play as soon as possible. The champions off to a winning start, but not a convincing display from them, it must be said.